Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to wait about 20 seconds for people to log in, and then we'll get started with today's presentation. So I'm seeing our numbers increase, so that's a good thing. We'll just wait a couple more seconds, and then we'll get started. Okay, thank you for joining us today. Today we've got an excellent presentation lined up for you. Rather than me doing all the speaking today, we're going to have our colleagues from the General Service Administration talking about their agency, how to do business with the GSA. We're going to be having Lori Falkenstrom, who represents Northern California, and then Anthony Caruso, who will represent Southern California. So with that, Lori, I'll just let you take it away.
Alrighty, thank you so much, and good morning, everyone. We're delighted to be here and appreciate you joining us today. We would like to take this opportunity to thank our friends at Apex for the invitation to talk about doing business with GSA. I'm going to come off camera moving forward so we can stay focused on the slides. So thank you again for joining us. Again, my name is Lori Falkenstrom, and my co-presenter is my boss, Anthony Caruso. And we are your GSA small business advocates. And if you'd like more information about any of the topics discussed today, please reach out to us directly, or you can work with your local Apex office. They are amazing. And please also send us your capability statement. Our contact information will be on the last slide. Thank you. Here's a list of our topics we'll cover today. We'll start with an agency overview. It's always great to get to know who you're trying to market to, find out the mission of that agency, just kind of getting to know your customer. And then we'll also talk about accessing federal contract opportunities, specifically where you can locate GSA contract opportunities. And we'll also provide you with a brief overview about the GSA multiple award schedules, also known as MAS. And we'll share some small business resources with you as well. GSA is a federal civilian agency, and this slide gives you a snapshot about GSA and our mission. GSA is one of the federal government's largest buyers and contracts for billions of dollars worth of products and services for other federal civilian agencies and DoD customers worldwide. GSA serves the same customer agencies you're marketing directly to. So if you're interested in selling to the federal government, definitely worth your time to explore what GSA has to offer. And we hope that this information moving forward will help shed some light on where to start. Now, GSA is made up of two components which offer contract opportunities. And we have our public building service, also known as PBS, and our federal acquisition services, also known as FAS. We'll start with PBS. GSA is considered the government's landlord, and as you can see, PBS owns and or leases over 8,000 assets. GSA maintains an inventory of more than 370 million square feet of workspace for 1.1 million federal employees and preserves more than 500 historic properties. If you're looking to identify potential PBS opportunities, please check out our GSA forecast of contract opportunities, subcontracting directory, which is nationwide. Excuse me, my apologies. There is someone at my door, so if you can hold, just give me 2 seconds. I apologize for this interruption.
While Lori's answering her door, save your questions for the end, and or you can just already start typing them into the Q&A, and then we can respond to them. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks everyone. I appreciate it. My apologies. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and just continue. Again, if you're looking to identify potential PBS opportunities, check out our GSA forecast of contract opportunities. Again, I said the subcontracting directory is nationwide, and we also have our sam.gov. That's where we also post opportunities, and the GSA mass and indefinite delivery and indefinite quantity, also known as IDIQ contracts. And here's also a short list of the services PBS procures. If you offer services in construction, maintenance, building operations, leasing, or other related construction services, we recommend you start by visiting the GSA PBS website listed below. I'm going to move to the next slide. And thank you all again for your patience. We will host a GSA webinar, which will provide you with an overview of PBS in the Pacific Rim. Our guest speaker is a branch chief contracting officer, and we'll discuss contract opportunities, our regional contract vehicles, and offer some tips on doing business with PBS. And we hope to see you on March 20th. We've also provided the registration link here on this slide as well. And again, all of you will receive a copy of this this particular slide deck. And if you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out to me or Anthony. We are now going to switch over to our Federal Acquisition Services, also known as FAS. FAS offers access to a wide variety of contract opportunities. Their contract vehicles offer billions of dollars worth of products and services and facilities that federal agencies need to serve the public. And there's always an open solicitation available for you to become an industry partner, helping GSA supply federal agencies with high quality products and services. And here's a short list of the products and services that GSA procures through FAS. You can find opportunities through FAS by checking out, again, our GSA forecast, our subcontracting directory, the GSA mass, and the government-wide acquisition contracts, also known as GWACs. GSA not only procures, but we also offer real estate, and we auction off real estate, furniture, computers, vehicles, and we've provided that website for our GSA auctions on this slide as well. Now, Anthony and I work in the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization, and we are your small business advocates. We oversee the small business programs and provide counseling to small businesses on how to do business with GSA. We provide and promote increased access to GSA's nationwide procurement opportunities by working with our acquisition workforce. And that looks basically what that looks like is providing training on a monthly basis to our acquisition workforce and teaming up with the Small Business Administration, going over the small business programs, giving them the updates, how to award and review contracts for small businesses. And then we also monitor and implement small business policies and manage a range of programs mandated by law. And you can reach out to our office and we'll help get you started, or you can reach out to your local Apex office. They can provide help with responding to our solicitations, in addition to numerous other services. We continue to increase small business participation in our acquisitions, and we advocate for all small businesses in social economic categories, including small disadvantaged, veteran-owned, service-disabled veteran-owned, hub zone, and women-owned businesses. And there's a lot more to learn about the small business programs. We recommend that you visit our website so you can get to know more about our office. And the map that you see here shows the different regions. We are located in Region 9, which is the Pacific Rim region, and we consider it the best region nationwide. We cover all the sunny states. We cover all of California, Nevada, Arizona, and Hawaii. And this map will help you identify the other states each region covers. So please feel free to reach out to your local GSA small business specialists in any region that you're looking to do business with GSA. Now, here are the minimum requirements if you want to do business with GSA or any federal agencies. If you're new to the federal government, you will have to visit the important websites that we've listed here, and you must be registered in SAM.gov, which stands for System for Award Management. And this system ties into how the federal government and potential teaming partners will find your company, as well as how the government will pay you. You will also be issued a unique entity identifier, UEI number, through the SAM.gov entity registration process. And the UEI replaced the DUNS number in April of last year. Your DUNS number will still be used for historical information, but please remember to update your capability statement to include your UEI. You will also need to identify your NAICS code, which stands for North American Industry Classification. And the NAICS code represents your industry, and it's critical in doing business with the federal government. So when a federal agency, say like GSA, is posting an opportunity, it'll be specific to a NAICS code, which helps you identify the size standard and identifies the small businesses available. You can have more than one NAICS code and be both large or small business, depending on the NAICS code size standard. It is also important to determine your business category and also social economic status. For example, are you a woman-owned business, HUBZone or 8A, or service-disabled veteran-owned business? And if yes, there are contracting benefits for a small business by social economic category. It's important to identify each category you're eligible for. So if you fall into any one of these categories, there will be opportunities set aside, especially for each of these categories. This will allow you to pursue specific social economic set aside opportunities. And it's also critical to update your SAM profile with the correct NAICS code you're conducting business in. So federal agencies and potential large prime contractors searching for your company in your industry will be able to find you. And last, you will also need to identify your business size, of course, and the size changes depending on the product or service you offer. So please visit the website that we've listed here under size standards for that. Another key item that you will need to know is your product service code, also referred to as your PSC. Using your PSC will allow you to filter your specific product or service. The NAICS code and PSC codes represent a major tool used by government agencies to classify procurements for goods and services. And the NAICS code classifies commercial activity into broad business categories, for example, manufacturers, wholesalers, retail, and services. So the PSC codes are used to describe products and services in a more detailed fashion. So just remember the NAICS code is what you do, and your PSC is how you are doing it. Both of these codes are used by all federal agencies. Now, the SAM.gov is the government point of entry for federal agencies to post contract opportunities, special notices, such as events the agency may be conducting, requests for information, pre-bid conferences, and sources sought notices. And you will also find the synopsis and solicitations as well. If you're new to SAM.gov, please check out the Learning Center for guidance, or you can contact your local Apex. If you're interested in subcontracting and you're not necessarily ready to move forward as a prime in doing business with the federal government, please visit our GSA subcontracting website. When a large business receives a federal contract over $750,000 for products and services, or $1.5 million for construction contracts, they may have potential subcontracting opportunities. You can utilize our GSA subcontract directory and filter your search either by contractor's name, your NAICS code, or the state. You can also find primes at GSA's e-library, website, and you don't have to hold a GSA Mass contract. So we recommend that you visit both of these websites to do further research. Please also check out SBA's subnet. You can view potential opportunities posted by large prime contractors. So you can choose the location from the subnet that you see on the website, and it will provide you with a list of opportunities by the location, the closing date, point of contact. It'll give a description of the opportunity and so much more. And again, these opportunities are posted by the large prime contractors. Now, this slide will help you identify potential contract opportunities specifically with GSA. And we do have other federal agencies that you see listed here. You can access their opportunities as well. So please spend some time on this website. All government agencies maintain a forecast of contract opportunities website, and all of the forecasts are found at the acquisition.gov link on this slide. We're required to post all future or expected requirements over $25,000 for supplies and services on our forecast site, Acquisition Gateway. The forecast tool provides information on planned federal contracting opportunities and assets with acquisition planning by helping vendors learn about potential prime contracting opportunities early in the process. So not all of these requirements listed in the forecast will be awarded. They're actually uploaded to give contractors an overview of what should be coming out from an agency. So you can easily filter the data by agency, location, place of performance, NAICS code, contract type, and more. And a quick link was developed for the GSA forecasting, which is www.fbf.gov. And there are also two other links that will also take you to our GSA forecast sites. And as I mentioned earlier, the acquisition.gov website will take you to all of the federal agencies' forecast sites. Please include these forecast sites in your government market research. Here's a listing under the GSA forecast of contract opportunities for fiscal year 24 and 25. This is just a pinch of what is listed. Please visit the fbf.gov to access a complete listing of our GSA forecast opportunities as well as the other federal agencies that were listed. GSA eLibrary is a great resource for finding the latest contract vehicles, such as the GSA Mass, government-wide acquisition contracts, also known as GWACs, and the technology contracts and assisted acquisition services. You can enter information such as the NAICS code or a keyword, and you can view your competitors as well on the Mass. And more importantly, you can also look up their price list for their products and services. And if you want to dig deeper, there are other websites and tools and training that you can access from the GSA eLibrary, which is listed under additional information. That particular box has a link specifically for contractors. Here's a list of GSA's government-wide acquisition contracts, also known as GWACs. I had mentioned that earlier. A GWAC is a pre-competed multiple award, indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity IDIQ contract that other agencies can use to buy total IT solutions. And through these GWACs, the federal government can buy cost-effective, innovative solutions for IT requirements. And the total contract ceiling dollar for each GWAC is in the billions. So what does this mean for a small business? If you are in the IT industry, please visit the website you see here and view the list of contract holders. There may be potential subcontracting opportunities with these contract holders. And if you want to receive an update on any or all of the GWACs, go to the GSA's Interact website. Now, let's briefly talk about market research and reports. You can use sam.gov to generate reports. This is an excellent resource to gather a good understanding for what's happening in the market for your products and services. And typically, Anything that is purchased at 10,000 or above is required to be reported. And this is essentially a repository of these contracting reports, or rather the receipts for products and services that have been procured by the federal government. And it will provide you with historical snapshot of the products and services purchased by the federal agencies. And this historical information will let you know which federal agencies are buying what you're selling, how much they are spending, and it'll help you build an expiring contract report and so much more. So please make sure that you check this out, the sam.gov. You can also go directly to FPDS, the Federal Procurement Data System, to look up specific contract data. For example, you can search by NAICS code in the easy search box. If you enter the search box for, say, NAICS code 236220, which is general construction, the search results will give you a list of contract actions where you can view specific contract data, and this information is entered in by the agency's contracting staff. So just keep in mind when you're doing your research, sometimes it will be incomplete in terms of the data that was entered. You will definitely have to do some research in order to find the agency's point of contact, and plan on doing some indirect marketing when you do locate these individuals and have their emails. Indirect marketing to those who are awarding these contracts specifically for the products or service you're selling. You can send your capability statement and inquire about future opportunities. The USA spending is another tool that can be used for conducting market research, marketing analysis. It is a government source for data on federal grants, contracts, loans, and other financial assistance. You will be able to search awards by state, congressional district, county, and zip code. The FPDS still serves as the source of usaspending.gov contract data and makes available federal procurement reports. And this includes data on contracts of more than $25,000 and summary data of procurements less than $25,000. And the data spent in usaspending.gov are by federal agencies and represents awards including grants, contracts, loans, and other financial assistance. So federal agencies are required to submit reports on awards within 30 days. I'm going to go ahead and stop here, and I'm going to turn it over to Anthony. Thanks again, everyone, for your patience.
Thank you so much, Lori. Appreciate that. That was a wealth of information. So this slide talks about the dynamic small business search profile page. Please take a look at your current page. This site is essentially your free advertisement to the federal government and potential teaming partners. I mention this because we see outdated information on company profiles quite often. This site may be your first contact with the government agency, so please update it and ensure it accurately reflects your current business. Your DSBS profile can also leave unpopulated fields, so pay attention to your capabilities narrative. It may need to be polished, and also make note of any specialized services or supplies you provide, as well as technical expertise that separates you from the competitors in this section as well. Also take a look at the keywords. This helps narrows the search results, which is helpful if we are looking for some additional specialty or specialized skills, which is less common under a general NAICS or NAICS code category. Make sure you update this section with your common industry keywords and those specialized keywords that differentiate you from your competitors. Updates are done by visiting connect.sba.gov and requesting access to your DSBS information. It can take up to 3 days to get access to it. You can also view a video by clicking I need more information on how to access DSBS from the homepage of connect.sba.gov. This video is extremely helpful, and if you need assistance, please contact your local Apex. Next slide, please. Also been an update to the dynamic small business search profile. The SBA now allows you to link your capability statement to your profile, which helps you market to your businesses, to federal agencies and potential teaming partners. Can't speak today. I've added the direct link to DSPS as well as the link to find instructions on logging into your DSPS profile through SBA Connect. Next slide, please. We're now going to transition over to the GSA multiple award schedules, the MASS program. We'll give you a brief overview of the minimum requirements, where to start, and other general information. This slide shows you a snapshot of just some of the GSA's customers. It includes DoD and all the federal civilian agencies, as well as state and local governments, as well as tribal entities. As you can see, everyone pretty much buys from GSA in some way, shape, or form. But in doing your market research, as Lori was touching on, it's essential that you really fine-tune your marketing plan to the federal government, so you understand who buys what, how much of it they buy, who the current and incumbent is. All that information is at your fingertips, as Lori mentioned, in FPDS on SAM.gov, as well as USA Spending. You can find out the who, what, where, when, why of federal contracting. Which agencies buy what, how much of it they buy, who the current incumbent is on the contracts, and what tool or contracting vehicle do you need in order to do business with the different federal agencies and military installations that you're targeting. Remember, the federal government, the U.S. federal government is the largest buyer in the world. So it's even the big boys and girls can't market to the entire federal government. You really need to find your niche, the 3 to 5 agencies you should be targeting. And the multiple award schedules is one of those avenues to do business with these agencies and military installations, as well as state and local. Next slide, please. GSA MASS, or multiple award schedule, are long-term government-wide contracts with commercial companies that provide access to millions of commercial products and services at fair and reasonable prices to the government. The schedule makes buying easy and efficient and connects government buyers and industry partners. Here's another reason why it may be worth looking into obtaining a GSA MASS contract. It generates between $40 billion in sales every year. So once you obtain a GSA MASS contract, you can market directly to our customer agencies, which include the federal agencies, as well as state and local governments, as well as other organizations that are also potential opportunities in both subcontracting and the prime contracting arena. Our MASS contracts are publicized by a standing consolidated solicitation, which is posted on SAM.gov under the contract opportunities section. The MASS contracts are 5-year contracts with 3 5-year options, essentially making them a 20-year contract. As Lori mentioned, they are IDIQ, indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contracts, and there are currently over 19,000 scheduled contractors on the multiple award schedule, over 80% of which are small businesses. The checklist on the right shows that GSA MASS is not a certification, nor does it guarantee sales. It is not mandatory in order for you to do business with the federal government. It also is not used for companies who are in construction under NAICS 236220, and it is not mandatory again for agencies to use. But it does make it easier for government agencies and military installations to utilize your services. It cuts down the paperwork on the back end. So procurements that used to take 6 to 9 months to get to SAM.gov or for you to bid on can now be awarded in less than 30 days. So it really can be useful in speeding up the procurement process and make it easier for reoccurring buys from customer agencies and military installations. And to get started, please visit the GSA Mass website that is listed below. This website really is useful and a great tool in identifying, as it says, the roadmap to getting on schedule. It gives you what to expect, what to avoid, what you need to gather the information, and takes you through all the templates that you need. So really, we're trying to be as transparent as possible, make the process, which is not easy by any means, much more doable for the small business community. Next slide, please. The GSA Mass multiple award schedule is broken into 12 large categories. There are subcategories that fall under that large category, and these subcategories are related by NAICS codes. You can see the 12 large categories listed here: IT, travel, facilities, professional services, human capital, transportation, furniture, and so on. The miscellaneous category is the stuff that did not fit into any of the others, but it's complementary. Next slide, please. Here is a sample of a large category, which is furniture and furnishings, and the subcategories within this larger category. The SINs are directly related to your NAICS. So this large category is furniture and furnishings. And as you can see, there are several subcategories: flooring, signs, miscellaneous furniture, household, dormitory, package furniture. And they are directly the same code as your NAICS code is. So we're trying to be as transparent and utilizing the same terminology across the government, so that you're not having to learn something new. Before we consolidated to one multiple award schedule, we had SIN numbers that did not relate to your NAICS codes, and so people were having to learn a lot of different information that was not the same across the government. So we're trying to do is make it a little bit easier for you, the vendors, as well as for our customer agencies. Next slide, please. Here's a snapshot of some of the products and services that we provide to our government customers. And if you would like to see a full list of what GSA buys, please visit our GSA e-library website below. You can also do a search by NAICS. If you see special item numbers, also known as SINs, the SIN number also follow the NAICS codes. The e-library is also a great place to check out the competition. You can view and see the current GSA Mass contract holders, as well as viewing their pricing. So if you sell something we buy under the multiple award schedule, you may want to consider working with GSA to pursue a Mass contract. The GSA Mass contract solicitation is always open, 24/7, 365 days, 5 days a year, or 64. Okay. But the e-library really is a great place to do some of that market research. Next slide. This is a snapshot of what the GSA e-library looks like. In the search engine, you can put a product or service. You can put your competitors. You can take a look by NAICS code, and a listing of everyone who is currently under that specific category will come up. So if you're looking for IT, you can click on IT or put in IT in the search engine. All 5,000 vendors that are currently on the Mass schedule under category IT will come up. You'll be able to look who's under software, who's under cybersecurity, and if you click on those subcategories, you'll be able to see every vendor that is on schedule. the terms and conditions of their contract, their price list, where they're located, their socioeconomic indicators. So if they're a small, woman-owned, service-stable, veteran-owned company, all of that is there for you to see who you are competing against. So you can see if that return on investment of getting on schedule, because it does take quite a bit of time, and we know your time is your money. So it's essential to really do that market research to make sure getting on the multiple award schedule will create that return on investment that you need. So really take a look at the Schedule Z library, really see, can you compete with who's currently on schedule? Take a look at companies that are similar in size to yours, that offer similar products or services. How much are they doing on schedule? Do they have zero sales? Do they have millions of dollars in sales? Is this right for your company? And the e-library has a wealth of information in that. So really take a look at it and utilize to make sure it's right for your company. Also on the Schedule Z library, it'll take you to where you can download the paper-based application to get on schedule. So all the templates you can download. I like to call it your nighttime reading. Put it in a binder, put it by your nightstand. I guarantee you, it'll put you to sleep every night. A lot of FAR regulations, Federal Acquisition Regulations, and GSAM, General Services Acquisition Manual. This is what you want to become familiar with. All these terms and conditions, what you're getting your company into. Remember, this is a 5-year contract with 3 5-year options, essentially making it a 20-year contract. So you're making the decision to get on schedule. So you want to be able to maximize and utilize it and make sure you understand what you are getting your company into and how to maximize that return on investment. Next slide, please. So here are some other things to consider. As a GSA mass contractor, it is mandatory to generate at least $25,000 in sales within your first 2 years you're on, and thereafter, you'll need to do $25,000 each subsequent 12-month period. Obtaining a GSA mass contract is only the first step. You still have to compete for opportunities with the federal agencies that you are marketing to. It is important for you to market your GSA mass contract to help differentiate your products or service offerings from your competitors. As I mentioned earlier, one of the ways you can do this is through market research. Analyzing the data available to understand what federal agencies have a need for your product or service. Data, data, data. I know we're all inundated with data, but it's sort of where we're at. And if you decided to get on schedule, you really want to make sure you understand how the game is played at the specific agencies you are targeting. What makes it easier for them to do business with you? What's going to make them come back to you on a reoccurring basis? Do you need a multiple award schedule? Do you need another contracting vehicle? Maybe NASA Ames, maybe C4D Next Gen through Navy. What is the mechanism that you are utilizing to procure the services or products that you are selling to that specific agency and military installation? It is essential. You need to do the legwork just like you would when marketing and selling in the commercial marketplace. Next slide, please. So some prereqs requirements to getting on the schedule. You must be in business for 2 years, and you must also provide 2 years of financial statements. These statements must verify that you have made $25,000 in sales for your business. This information is used to ensure your company is financially stable. Be sure to explain any information that reflects negatively on your business. For businesses operating for less than 2 years, please look up GSA's Startup Springboard. This is for newer companies to submit an offer and be awarded a mass contract. The program is geared towards companies that do not meet the solicitation requirement of having 2 years of corporate experience or financial statements, as outlined in the mass solicitation terms and conditions. I'll talk a little bit about more of this in another slide later. You also must have measurable past performance, which is an indicator of your ability to perform the contract successfully. Under the MAS program, there are three options for meeting the past performance requirement, which I will cover also in a upcoming slide. Your products must be commercially available and compliant with the Trade Agreement Act, or the TAA, which states your products must be manufactured or substantially altered within the U.S. or a designated country as defined by the TAA, or the Trade Agreement Act. Next slide, please. So for newer companies that don't have 2 years of experience, the Startup Springboard program is geared toward those companies that do not meet the solicitation requirement of having 2 years of corporate experience or financial statements. This applies to all MAS categories. If your company cannot provide 2 years of statements, the Startup Springboard program allows you to leverage the work and project experience of your executives and key personnel. You can provide financial documentation in lieu of the required 2 years of statements to demonstrate your company's financial responsibility. Please visit the MAS roadmap and follow the instructions listed there to view the information regarding the Startup Springboard program. Next slide, please. So for some of the basics, please ensure that you are registered in SAM.gov. As Lori mentioned earlier, you need your UEI number. And when you electronically submit your offer through GSA e-offer, it will pull your information from SAM.gov. So it's important and essential to make sure your information is up to date with all of your current business info. Next slide, please. You will also have 2 training modules to complete when going through the multiple award schedule process. They are the Pathways to Success. It's a 90-minute module. Kind of take it through what to expect, what to avoid, and you will take a test at the end of this module, and you need to at least get 70%. You can take the test as many times. I need to print out your certificate and submit it with your proposal. The other module is the Readiness Assessment Toolbox. This will help you do some of your market research to help you identify what your return on investment will be when getting on the multiple award schedule, how much is done on your schedule, how much is done in your category, how much is done by similar companies that are similar in size to yours. Because like I said before, like Lori mentioned, it is quite a time investment. And we want to make sure companies that are getting on schedule are able to meet not only meet the 25,000 requirement, but really surpass that and thrive. You are representing GSA once you get on schedule to these different customer agencies and military installations. So we want you to be ready to perform and to be successful. Next slide, please. So here's a more detailed snapshot of the roadmap that we talked about. It gives you a list of the steps, formats, templates, instructions on preparation and submission to getting on schedule. It really, you need to bookmark this if you decide to get on a multiple award schedule. It really walks you through each step. Gives you the Read Me First document, which you're obviously going to read first, gives you an overview of the schedule's process, takes you through everything. It then takes you to the next step. I believe there's 6 different steps that are color coded for you, and really take the time to go through each one. Learn and understand, figure out what you need to do to get on, how to be successful in utilizing the multiple award schedule. Is it right for my company? Preparing to get everything together, gathering the information, gives you the templates. It gives you the commercial sales practice, the price proposal, all of that is right there at your fingertips with the click of your mouse. And then finalizing and submitting the offer, what to expect, how long should you be waiting for, who's going to contact you. All of that information is answered right there for you. So it really walks you through it. And then what now? The post submission. How you're going to be dealing with the contracting officer, negotiating, pricing, terms and conditions, and once you're on, how to do any modifications. So all of that really is a useful tool, and I think they've the MAS program has done a pretty good job in making it easier for vendors and industry partners to be successful, and really have the links that they need and in order to get the information getting through the schedule process. Next slide, please. And this kind of walks you down through downloading the MAS solicitation. So you understand, again, the terms and conditions and requirements. If there's an update to the solicitation, follow the numbered instructions listed on the slide and click on the link, which we have circled in red. You'll find the preparation instruction as well as the evaluation criteria in section 1 of the solicitation. Again, this is your nighttime reading. I can't tell you how you'll sleep like a baby reading this stuff. It's very dry. A lot of, again, FAR, Federal Acquisition Regulations, which is the Bible for federal contracting, GSAM, all of that is there for you, but you want to become familiar with it and really understand what the multiple award schedules are and what to expect when going through it and how to best utilize and maximize your return on investment. Next slide, please. And so in order to submit your GSA MAS offer, you're going to be going to eoffer.gsa.gov. There you'll find the steps you need to complete. I have highlighted 2 places to start. We recommend you view the before you begin, located under the contracting offers box. I also recommend clicking e-offer, listed under the section learn more about. You will find instructions on the steps you need to complete. For example, you have to complete the authentication process. At one time, we used to use digital search, which is no longer the case. You'll have to use the FAS, the Federal Acquisition ID credentials, to access the offer. The FAST ID system allows contractors to access many GSA applications with one email and password. Follow the instructions on the eOffer homepage to register for your FAST ID. Overall, this is the site where you can complete your offer. Submit the offer, and it includes the contract award process. So in eOffer, each section will go from red to green when you've completed it. It's where you'll upload any of the templates, like I said, the price proposal, the commercial sales practice, and any other templates that you have. It's where you'll submit your certificate for Pathway to Success and your readiness assessment. And then this is where you'll sign and submit your application or your offer to get on schedule. Next slide, please. Here's a list of our MAS resources. Consider, again, attending the monthly GSA MAS office hours webinar. It's your opportunity to engage with the MAS experts. You also can go to YouTube to catch up and view some of our past monthly GSA MAS office webinars. If you have any questions, you can email the GSA Multiple Award Schedule team directly. Please note, our office will be hosting a GSA webinar on the do's and don'ts of submitting a MAS proposal. And this webinar will be held on May 14th, and it will be someone from the acquisition center directly. So you want to hear from the horse's mouth as much as possible and become familiar with the process. These are the people that are going to be evaluating your offer for the multiple award schedule. The time, it takes probably about 6 to 9 months currently cradle to grave to get on the multiple award schedule. So it is time intensive. How many man or women hours does it take to get on schedule? I get that question a lot. There's no set time. It really depends on your familiarity with government contracting and how much of the required information you have readily available to you. But really getting that face time, hearing from the contracting officers, the contracting specialists that are reviewing your application will make it much easier and a smoother process for you to get through. Next slide, please. Here's a partial list of our GSA counterparts across the country. Please feel free to reach out as you're looking for opportunities in any of these states. So if you're looking in the forecast and you see something in Kansas City, please reach out to my counterpart, Bill Strobel, who's listed out there. In the Northeast, Jerry Smith. In Chicago, you'll be talking to Kimberly Hutchinson. Philly, Helen Koch. Texas, Albert Garza. And in Atlanta, Big Major George. We have their phone numbers, emails. Please do not hesitate to reach out, give them a call, email them, and let them know that Lori and Anthony sent you. Next slide, please. We've also mentioned our friends from the Apex throughout the webinar, and they are one of the best resources for small businesses. Also visit SBA's website. They are a great resource as well. And we provided 3 resources as a starting point when reaching out to SBA listed here. And I believe that concludes the presentation. Next slide. Myself and Lori Falkenstrom's contact information is listed, as well as the QR code. And we are happy to answer any questions. We have about 5 to 10 minutes. So any questions you have, we'll be more than happy to answer. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your Thursday.
Yes, so any of you have any questions for Lori or Anthony, please just either put them in the Q&A or in the chat, and then we'll respond accordingly. Okay, everybody, don't be shy. Now's your chance. And again, as Anthony mentioned, you can always just email or phone either him or Lori directly with any questions you may think about after the fact, or just reach out to us with Monterey Bay Apex Accelerator and we can help you out. So we have a taker. Let's see. So Dave Stewart asked, can you tell me if you know if there's ever any need for tents? Knowing David's company tents, he means kind of large tents that you would use like for an event.
I mean, it's definitely something that is used in the federal government. Our military installations utilize them quite a bit, as well as civilian agencies, depending on it's on a need basis, but it is something that is on schedule and we do utilize.
And there's also the National Park Service. That might be another opportunity. I do have a list of some of our colleagues with the other agencies, so that would be helpful, and we can definitely share that with them, with you all as well.
So Anne Marie ask the question, is there a need for charging stations? And I'm assuming that means charging stations for electric vehicles.
There have been opportunities for charging stations. I know on the forecast of contract opportunities, I've seen them there. We have field offices and properties, obviously with GSA being one of the largest landlords. So we can definitely look into that with our field offices in terms of needs to add or update any of the charging stations for vehicles in the building. So that's something that we can definitely look into. So just feel free to reach out to us, Anna Marie.
Seeing any more questions? Give it a couple more seconds, and then if not, we'll just end our session today. Let's see here. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any more questions, so thank you all for joining us today. And again, just reach out to any one of us for any further questions, clarifications you may have. And with that, have a great day, and then we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thanks. This was a great presentation. Really appreciate it.